Hey folks, afternoon. It's time for some more development, and today we are going to carry on with our look at the main menu and see what we can do with it. So, as a recap to last night, we added a high scores option, and we brought in a new animation for our credits, and we actually have a credit screen working. Okay, so with that in mind, we can continue with the work on this. And what we shall do is minimize this to start with. We'll come down to our HUD, and in high scores we'll get everything ready. So we'll create a widget called high scores. Then we shall go into our options and we shall create a widget called options. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to create a struct for our high scores. Right, and then we're actually going to create also an enumerator for our high scores as well. So we'll call it a high score ratings. And we're going to have, let's say we'll have 5 ratings. And we'll have a bit of a laugh with this. So if you're rubbish, then you're going to be a blood donor. And we'll just put in silly things. We'll say Van Helsing, I presume. We'll call this Steak Charmer. And we'll say stay indoors at night. And we'll call this Nightcrawler. Okay, so this is going to be like worst to best of our ratings, right? So when you get scored, you're going to come in under one of these ratings. Okay. And what we'll do is we shall create a function for this. but it's not going to be in the credits or the menu. It's actually going to be under the player, right? Now we're going to bring that down. And we're going to open this up. Then we're going to create a function. And we're going to say get return score rating. Okay. And it's going to have an input. We'll say, I don't know if this is going to be how we work out the score or not yet, but we'll just put something for now. And in fact, it's more going to be calculated from like the pickups, total pickups, etc., etc., right? So with that in mind, we're just going to basically do a well, to be quite honest, we're going to return rating, right? And it's going to be E high score ratings. Right, so we're just going to be passing one of these back. Hi Slors, how you doing? And we're basically just going to be coming down here, and as the score gets lower, so basically we can do this. And we'll return it for now. We shall save that. Just working away, you know. Just doing the usual stuff. Feeling a bit rough, but I'm just going to do some easy work today. I'm not going to think too much about it. So we'll get there. So we created our struct, right? So what we're going to have to do is say score, which is going to be an integer. We're going to have a level, which is going to be an integer. And maybe time, maybe a time, possibly. And we'll actually just save this as a string. Or, nah. I think it's a time code we want. Let's do a time code. Okay. So that's going to store our basic stuff. Now, What I've not done that I need to do is transfer everything into the player, struct, right? Because we've got this player stats, right? And all we've got is the max HP and the current HP, right? And then what we actually need here is lives. Which is also going to be 3 by default. And what we should really do is have a look at our controller to see what other values we need in here. Now, that is for breaking the wood. Why don't I use Unreal Engine 5? I answer this a couple of times every week. I don't use Unreal Engine 5 because, number one, it's still got a lot of niggles. Number two, I don't use Nanite or Lumen. And number three, the code base is basically the same as 4.27. Unreal Engine 5 code base is based on 4.27, so that's why I don't use it. Right, I'll eventually move over. I'll do some tutorials in Unreal Engine 5, but there you go. We've got music cues and main stats. Now the question is here, yeah, take damage, replenish health, right? And in actual fact, if we do this, we should be breaking this what's going on here? Right. What's going on? Why was it not allowing me to break it? Because that's what I really want to do here. That's context sensitive. Right, thank you. Right, so what we'll do is we're going to do some animation on this, but for the moment we'll just remove a life. Right. And then we shall be setting the main stats. and that's after we set members instruct, and it's going to just be lives. Right, so this is going to go in here, and that's losing a life, right? So if you lose a life, the question is, do we reset the level when you lose a life? Or do we just put you back at the start? That is the question. Right? So what we can do is hide unconnected pins. We can do this to tidy it up a bit. Right, so that's going to be a design decision for later. Right, but I'll tell you what we'll do. What we'll also do is we'll drag this across a bit, because we're also going to have to put in the so if that equals 0, then we're going to say not. Right, so we're adding in our logic here for game over, basically, or a new life. Okay. So this is going to go in here. We are going to have to do a little bit of work on this as well, because if you lose a life, you're going to lose. Right, okay. So if that's true, right, we set that back, and what we actually do here is we max HP. So if you lose a life, it sets your HP back to 3 and removes a life. Okay, and if it's false, basically we're not going to go back to this level, but for the moment this should end our game. Right, so what it's going to do is actually go back to the main menu, right? But it gives us our logic there, so that we can just go back to show a screen or show like a game over widget. right, for X amount of time. Before we do this, like, we could show our score widget. So basically what we've got is we take damage. If it's still more than 1 for the current health, we carry on. If it hits 0, then we take a life off, right? And if the life is 0, then we return to the main menu. If it's not, we reset the current HP back to 3, which is the max HP, and then we basically restart the level. Okay. Now we can change that if we want. But all the mechanics and all the logic's there for us. So what we'll actually do in this is we'll say out of lives, oops, and this is going to be at lose life, and this is going to be lose health. Okay, so lose health, lose a life, out of lives. Actually, we should really just say game over. Okay. And we'll do the same here. Okay, so we can work away on that later. I wonder what time span. I suppose that would be make a time span. Well, I guess that's just going to give us that back, right? It's just basically the difference between two different times. So I don't really need to worry too much about that, to be honest. Okay. Right, so we're crafting away in here nicely. Okay, we're just got a bot there, so we're just removing them basically. Sorry about that. Right, so as I said, we're kind of procrastinating away today because we're feeling a bit rough, but let's get on with this. And what we'll do here is we're going to go to options, then we're going to open up. Now, as I've told you before, guys, never do something, never reinvent the wheel, right? So if you've already got some code that does a particular thing, then don't do it again. Okay? So I'm going to open up this, which has a perfectly useful and usable options menu. So I'm going to basically do what we kind of did last night with the credits and open this up. This one also has, in actual fact, a high score table as well, but it's based on another plugin which I'm not going to use in this, so we shall just use our options and we'll copy some of the code from there across. Okay, so while that's loading up, I'm going to take the chance to have a comfort break. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe and check out the description for Discord links, etc. And I shall be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so that has all loaded up for us. Right, so I'm just looking on the other screen at the moment, and what I want to do is there is actually different widgets for each of the different things in the options. For example, there's one for key bindings, there's one for leaderboard, there's one for the levels, etc, etc. So what we'll do is we shall basically copy them, but we'll put them in a widget switcher, right? So what we'll do is we'll say display, and I'm gonna have to have a look at this actually. And this actually has all of the stuff in it. And we'll copy that. And what we'll do is we'll basically see what's actually in here. Okay. Now, this is literally going to give us all of our options. Okay. But we need to change all the text to a decent font. Right. And probably we want that the other way around. So that's going to be 0, that's going to be 0. And their actual scale box or our buttons is not going to be red. It's going to be black. Okay. So we're going to copy that. As I said, we're kind of rough today, so nothing's coming very easy to my mind, to be fair. Do that. So we're doing that for the sound. This button is going to be black as well. And we shall set all of these up. Oh, my head is not working. Get in the game. This is probably the best thing to do today because, as I said, it's not really a very good question, Max, because you're watching an Unreal Engine stream. So I don't know anything about Godot. I have used Unity and it's fine. I would say everything's fine. It's fine. If you find it fine, then it's fine. Right? If you enjoy using it, then and you get something done with it, then it's perfectly acceptable. That's really the crux of the matter, is if you get results out of that you like, then that's basically what you want. Right, so we have sound, display, visuals, keybinds, gameplay. Right, now these buttons, I want to see what they actually do within the other game. So just give me 1 second to find out what they do. And then we shall find out if these are actually different widgets or not. Visuals. Right. So basically, what we have to do is we copy then give me 1 second. Then paste. Come on, paste these. I'm still wondering whether or not to use the main menu and just use the bottom corner of it. I am still wondering about that. Whether to do that or not. So in answer to your question, Max, I don't know anything about Godot. Unity's perfectly fine, but use the engine that you like using and that you get results from. Did that just crash? Yeah, it did. Well, would you believe it? So yeah, that's my tip. Use what you're comfortable with. Okay, and now we get to find out how bad a crash it was, which is awesome. Okay, so it's a fair crash because we're not getting any response. And so what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm actually not going to use FTD. I'm going to actually use Fabric Espaces options. Right, because this was all in a widget switcher, which was a lot better. We can change the look of it, obviously. And is this going to do something now? Yep, we're back in business. Right. So what we can do is if we go back to our, in fact, if we just open these, and our screen has decided to jump over to the other one. Right, so this was our credits, and it looks like we've lost all the other stuff, which is obviously awesome. So we can go back into the HUD, main menu, options, and as you can see, we ain't got no widget. So we're going to say main menu and options. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to copy straight in, delete that, paste. Ooh, crash, it did crash. That's awesome. Well, we're not having much luck today, are we? Right, it wasn't so bad a crash that time. But I'm guessing we've probably lost our option again. Yep, we have. So That was great. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I created a animation and for some reason, right, we're going to save all. We're going to cancel this. We're going to open this. And once again it put it over there. Right. We're going to save all again. We're going to click on that and paste. And it does not like doing that. Okay. We're going to do this a slightly different way then. Right. So what we're going to do now, has it saved our widget this time? You see, our widget is definitely there. Right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy a border. And wow, it does not like that at all. Normally, guys, this isn't a problem. This is not a problem at all. But for some reason, today, it wants to be a problem. Right. So I guess we do this manually then. Right, so we pop a border in there. Right. And then in here we pop a canvas panel. But then we put a vertical box. And then we put a horizontal box. And we put another border in here. Right. Then in our horizontal box, right, I'm going to try this. What I'm going to do first though is I'm going to save this. I'm going to save all. Then in this horizontal box, I'm going to paste. And I wonder if I do that, and I do that, and I copy these, and I paste them, right? And then this canvas panel, you'll soon see things beginning to happen, hopefully. Okay, so this border here is going to be full size. And it's going to be 175, 175. Okay. And now we're going to get all our texts and we're going to change them to that. Okay. And then we're going to get all our buttons and that's kind of right, which means that we need to do check out what the padding etc is for these. And in actual fact that's a 25. And then we've got the vertical box. Right, which again is there. And it's basically 50, 125, 50, 125. Okay. And now we check the horizontal box, and that's fine. And now we're going to be looking at these buttons. Right, so we're going to go button, 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 button. And that's going to be 0, and that's going to be 1. Okay, that. We're going to do the same here. So that's 1, 0, and 0. Okay, that. And then this one is going to be the same. So that's 1, 0, and 0. And then our text I'm guessing we're going to have to set it to white, which is 1, 1, 1. And there we go. And this border is going to be basically see-through. Okay. So let's just do a save all on this for now, right? And then basically what we'll do is if we go back to our main menu, right? And there we've got our credits one, right? So we're basically going to do this. Except it's going to be in our options. So we'll paste that in there. It's going to be that. And then it's going to be button options on clicked. Okay. So that is going to go there. Save that. And we'll check it out. And there we go. Okay. And hey Gull, nice to see you again, mate. Hope you're well. So we've got this now, which is fine. Right. And obviously our so we can stop that. And the next thing we need to do is find out what else so we've got this horizontal box, and then we've got this border. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save all this, right? Make sure that's okay, because I'm about to do this could be another crash, right? Let's put it that way. Right, I'm going to copy this, and then in this border we're going to do a paste crash. Yep. It's too much for it to take by the looks of it, so I'm going to have to split this into parts. But this is still going to be a way faster, right, than actually just recreating the thing, right? So we're going to close this. Right, and we're going to go back to our options. We're going to minimize that down. Right, so we've now got a border. Right, so we've got a border, and we want a canvas panel in it. And then we want a vertical box in it. and it's really now we want a widget switcher. And we're going to call this WS underscore options. We're going to copy this. We're going to do a copy here. We're going to save this all just in case we get a crash again, but this shouldn't be anywhere near as bad. So we're going to say save all, and in here we're going to paste. That's fine. Then we're going to get the next box and we're going to paste. Then we're going to get the next one and we're going to paste. This will all make sense in a minute, guys, by the way, don't worry. Then we're going to do that and paste that. It's all going to become clear in a moment. And I don't think we're actually going to need, we're not going to need this, but what we're going to do, it's not going to like that. Yeah, it's when I use, it's actually when I use like a reference to something else within another game, because this, the one I was trying to do there was VB colors and it's got images and stuff, so I'm guessing that's why it's not working, and I don't actually need it. Right, so basically I'll just carry on with what I've got. Did I lose? Yeah, I did. Damn it. Right, so at least I know what not to do. So we can basically do the first four. Now the game colors isn't actually going to be required. This actually might end up being something else, right? Gameplay, for example. So like for example, this button colors won't actually be colors anymore. It's probably going to be gameplay, right? And it's going to have a completely different thing. Call that gameplay. Right, now the simple thing here now is to get all of these and set the text on them. and set all basically the correct values, right? But the first thing we really need to do is do the text. Right? And you'll notice now that these are like a thing. And we'll do the same here. And this will begin to make a bit more sense. That's actually going to be filled. Right, we're going to have to do that kind of separately. And I think this one's kind of the same. Yeah, combo, these are all combo boxes that are going to have to be filled in. Right. Okay, whatever. We can do that in a minute, but what we really want to do here is get this canvas panel or rather this vertical box set up properly. And there we go. And we also want to do this canvas panel and this has a 25 on it. And that's 4 and that's 2. Right. And this border isn't quite right. Something weird going on here. Unless it's this widget switcher. That's set to fill. Right, so the vertical box above it is size to contents. And then the canvas panel, we've just set that. So that's all right. And this border is going to be transparent. Okay. So we're setting up all these. Okay. So these are beginning to look a bit more like it. We're going to select that button and that button and that button, and we're going to recolor these to 1, 0, 0. And then this is going to be the same, 1, 0, 0. And this is going to be the same, 1, 0, 0. And what we know is that these should be 1, 1, 1. Save that. Right, so we're going to do a save all. And if we go to options, you'll now see that we've got these things here. Okay, now these aren't going to do anything when you click on them, but they are going to do something in a minute, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a quick smoke break. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, and if I've not answered you in the chat, I'm sorry. It's because I've got another project open and I'm copying and pasting across and stuff like that, which makes it hard in the short term, but we'll get there in a minute. So don't go anywhere, guys. Check out the description for the links to Discord and how to support on Patreon and my previous game on Steam. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Okay guys, we're back and I'm just going to check on a little something. Just give me 1 second. And Fulham have beaten Aston Villa 3-0 and Leicester lead 2-0 against Leeds at half time. That was your little Premier League update. And back on with it. So, what we're doing is, let's just get our first two things up and running, okay? We're going to need a crap ton of variables, but in the meantime, we want this button, right? And this button, on clicked, is going to get our widgets. Well, I'm going to have to stop it for now, right? But we're going to get our widget switcher, right? And we basically say set active widget index is 0. Okay. And this is going to be fairly straightforward because we're just going to go paste, then we're going to copy the two of these and paste, right? Then for each one we're going to set our widget switcher to a different index of 0, 1, 2 and 3. And 4 is going to be our gameplay, but we haven't got that set up yet, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to save that. We're going to go to our designer, we're going to close that, then we're going to go to our display, get our button display, and on clicked, and that is going to change this to 1. Then it's going to be visuals, key bindings, gameplay, right? Visuals, key bindings. So we're going to click on this one, on clicked, bindings, on clicked, gameplay, on clicked, right? And we're going to drag these up. That's going to go in here. That one is going to go in here. Now, I don't mind doing this, especially when I'm not feeling so good, right? Because I'm still making progress, right? And I'm doing jobs that are going to need done at some point. And this is just basically, you'll come back to this, you'll forget you've actually done this. You'll forget you've done this part of development, and it'll all be done, and you'll be like, oh, that's great, I don't need to do that. And that'll be all fantastic, right? We're going to delete these, although we're probably going to end up needing we're going to definitely need the construct, right? Because the construct is going to have all the stuff to fill up the combo boxes, etc. And I'm going to copy the code across for that. Now, what we could do here is just basically do, well, duplicate it. And we're basically going to set the index to 4, right? But it's basically going to have nothing for the moment, right? Now, if we save that, save all. Now, if we press play and we go to options, right? You'll notice now all our stuff is doing different things. And that does nothing because there basically isn't a index 4, right? But you'll see now that all of that is working rather lovely. Okay. So our next port of call is getting back to our designer. Right. Now, I wonder if I can do this. And we can basically change these all to white. Okay, and then these line here, and this is going to be white as also. We could actually make it, yeah, that'll do. Right. So our next thing that we need to do is in our widget switcher is we need to basically change this stuff. Right. So all our, basically everything with text we're basically going to change it. Okay. And 1 1 1 and the next thing is this here. And we do a similar thing here. Okay. Then we can select all the buttons here. Okay, that. And you can see that we're gradually making inroads into what's going on, right? We're gradually changing stuff. We're gradually making it so that it's all looking the same. And the final one is basically the key bindings, which is going to take a little more. Well, it's actually not going to take a heck of a lot. The interesting thing is that the key bindings is basically another widget. Right? And it's obviously going to change slightly as well. But in the meantime, we can change the font. and bring it into line. Okay. And we can decide later how we want this to finally look. So what we'll do is we'll save all at this point and have a look at what we've got. Okay. So you can now see it's a lot better than it was. And then we've got our thing and these drop downs. Probably, interesting. Yeah, those are all the same, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, this is your epic blah 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 thing. Right, so we can stop that for now. And that was on visuals, wasn't it? Right. CP audio display. And this is the visuals one. Right. And button style. And I think this may be a code thing. Item style. Text color. Where's the font? It's under style. Apparently. Apparently not. Interesting. So it's definitely in here somewhere. Question is, where was that font? Drop indicator, everything but. Here it's here. That's interesting. Ah, it's changed now that I've done that. Right, so basically what we want to do is select that, that, and that, and that, and that. Then type in font, then go for that, compile it, and there we go. Okay. But the difference is that we need to do our display. Right? So doing that. And we do that. We compile it. Right? And this is the one that gets filled in. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go to the original project and I'm going to do I'm going to get these two, I'm going to copy them, then we're going to go to our graph, we're going to paste them in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create these two functions, right? So this is going to be called fill resolution combo box. Okay, and then we're going to copy code. We're going to save this, save all, and just in case something goes disastrously wrong, if I can get the words out, right, and then there we go. Now if we go to here, we can basically do that, right? And the next thing is, if we press play, options, display, you'll notice we have lots of resolutions. Okay, and this is doing its windowed full screen stuff. Doobie-doobie-doo. That all works nice. We probably need the size of these down a shade. This is a checkbox. So that's all good. And we need to change these over, but as I said, we can gradually work these in. We're going to do another function called fill key bindings, and we're going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to need some stuff on this one. Right, so I'm going to leave that for now, and we'll just carry on and work with what we have. And when we go to options, what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable, and we're going to say call it ref main menu, and it's going to be W main menu, and it's going to be instance editable expose on spawn, and I'll show you why we're doing that in a second. Right, because if we go into main menu, we go to the graph, and we create the options. We don't want to add a breakpoint, sorry. What we want to do is refresh the nodes, then we'll get self that goes in there. Right, and then in our options on event construct, we're going to get that. We're going to set visibility to hidden. Okay. I'm going to save that. And now you'll notice that our other menu has disappeared, and we need to fix up these things, and we need to make these a bit smaller text. Okay. Look at that, the audio ones are different for some reason. Right, but anyway, let's go here. This button here seems to be different from the others. It looks like this button is actually set to draw as an image, whereas the rest of them are set to draw as a box. Yeah. Draw as a box, please. See, the other ones are box. Right, so let's have a check on that. Right, much better. And now we shall go to our display. And it's actually this button again. So let's get these buttons sorted out, shall we? And that's going to be 1, 0, 0. What's going on with that? Right, tell you what, copy that. For some reason that didn't work. There we go. Right, so again, 1, 0, 0. 1, 0, 0. And 1, 0, 0. And we can type in what we want to do here is it's actually not that. It's this here is going to be 1, 1, 1. Compile. Okay. Apparently not. Where's the black? Go 1, 1, 1. Compile. Apparently that's not it either. One, 1, 1. Okay, save that. Then we're going to bring this down to, let's say, 18. Save that. I'll have a look again. Make sure it's beginning to look how we want it. Yep, that's beginning to look really nice. Change all of these. Can do that. Okay, so everything's looking good up until now. Right, so we can stop that. And 2 weeks. So I believe it's this one. Yeah, it is indeed this one. 1 0 0. Yeah, I started it 2 Fridays ago at night, and I'm going to take off 3 days because it took me a couple of days to bring it from 5 down to 4.27. So yeah, 2 weeks. Now, have we got any more of these things to sort out? Got audio's fine. We've got that to do. Visuals, that's fine. That's fine. I'm actually liking the look of this better. Well, I kind of got an idea of what I'm doing, so it makes it a lot easier. I'm not sure, but what do you think, guys? Do you think it's... I think what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to have the same idea as I did before, right? But the difference is going to be that I'm still going to have this character here, right? But I'm going to move everything into like this, into a box this size. Right now, is that going to cause me a problem? And I don't think it is, because this can be moved down. That still fits everything fine. This is going to be fine there as well. The key bindings is going to be fine once I bring it down in size. That's going to look absolutely okay, right? So that's what I'm going to do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the size, the actual size of our box, right? This box here, and if I take it 500, might even be, let's call it 750, right? We'll save that. Okay. Now you can see that this is looking good. That's looking good. That looks fine, but I'll need to bring the sizes down on that, which is fine. Right? And this is going to be fine as well. So what I would say was, the easy thing to do here is to do it like that and have this guy still here. What I'll do is move this up a bit, right? So we're not going to offset for the top as much, so we might say 25 there, right? That's looking fine. Okay. And then if we add a bit more space in and don't bring this in, it's probably going to be fine. Right, so the likes of these aren't going to have any padding to the left. right? Now, I don't think that's 10. Right, and that's to the bottom. Now it looks to me right, why is this? Ah, I know what it is. This has got 50 padding on the left. Right. So basically, if I take that padding off, and I do the same for them all. I know I could have didn't select them all and done it, but and now we've got this vertical box, and then this border, and this canvas panel. If I bring that down a bit, right, let's say we make that 25. Right, that's not right. See, this is 25. If I make that 50. Right. That's looking good to me. Right, now, I don't know if I should have these boxes anymore. Whether we should just like have the text. Maybe have them for the drop downs. Right, but not for the other things, right? So in display, oops, the daisies. Right, so we're gonna drop that down. And we've got this canvas panel. Right, so this is our audio, which we've done. This is our resolution, which we have not done. Right, so we've got this scale box here. And that one. And that one. And that one. And then we set that to 0. And that brings all them into alignment. Right, so that was display. And now we can do the exact same thing for these. And there we go. We set that to 0. And then our key bindings doesn't need to change really. Well, it will change, but because basically we've got these things here and it's going to have to change a bit, but we'll work it out. Right, so now everything should be a lot sort of better that way, which it is. Right, all we need to really do now is change. We could put, let's do a little something here, right? This is on the visuals, right? So what we could do is not that, right? We could get our visuals, right? And I'm just going to try this, okay? So bear with me, guys, on this one. On this one, what we could do is wrap it in a scale box. And you'll notice that this is now the correct kind of size we want. Right, we can get this one, wrap it with a scale box. Okay. And we can basically go through all of these and wrap them with a scale box. And when we do that, everything, all the text gets scaled properly to fit where are we? Okay, so we basically take that, save it all, drag this down, go to options. We can obviously do the same with these, but you'll notice now that these are all like so. Right. And we could, right now this actual box, I can't remember, I think it was this border, wasn't it? It was a padding on this border, right? If we called it 650, it's probably still going to be fine. Yeah. What do you think of that, guys, for the options menu? Do we like that? I think it's pretty good. Knock it up in a couple hours. Got our whole option system there. A lot of code I can copy to make it even better. Anyway, with that in mind, it's time to call it for this afternoon. I'll be back at 8 PM Central. So if you've enjoyed the stream, and learn something from it, hit like, subscribe. Check out the description for a link to Discord, and you can support the channel for as little as a couple of bucks on Patreon, or you can actually take a look at my previous game on Steam, a tower defense game called FTD2. So thank you all very much for watching, and I shall hopefully see you on the next stream. Bye bye for now.